Hey guys, now that you watched my tutorial introducing the basic requirements for this next essay, I think it's important to introduce the topics. So here goes. I have a total of 6 topics for you. Um, Out of the 6, you are choosing one. So I do want to make sure that you understand the basic format of this essay and what I'm looking for each topic. So first things first, let me just clarify that these are all of the texts that we read for Unit 1. Some of them are short stories, some of them are plays. You're going to notice that the italicized ones are either plays or movies. So we did have 2 movies to choose from. It's possible that you guys only watched one, so if you are not interested in the other one, you don't have to do that one. So out of all of these stories, you are going to choose one story to focus on. So in this essay, I'm going to ask you to focus on one story when you are writing one of these topics. As you are focusing on one story, you are going to make a connection to another story from our unit. So let me just clarify. If I decide that I am focusing primarily on sure things, I do have to, somewhere in my essay, like in a body paragraph, make a connection to another story from our unit. So I might make a connection to the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, but that connection is only going to be in one paragraph, not the whole thing. Okay? So now let's just try to understand what I'm looking for each topic. Topic number 1 is something that I've done for many years, and it's a great success. Students love it. It's a character analysis. So a character analysis is harder than it seems. It's not so clear cut. So I do want to make sure that I go over what exactly I am looking for when it comes to a character analysis. Basically, the more specific your analysis, the better your essay is going to be. So first things first, choose one character from any of the stories we've read. That's your first step, okay? You can choose, anywhere from the nameless narrator from The Telltale Heart to the character of Connie from Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been? Some of the characters are better formed than others, but it's really up to you which character you decide to select. A strong character analysis should provide both an understanding and evaluation of this character. So your evaluation is your judgment of the character. In other words, do you think this character is sympathetic or not? Are you condemning this character or are you defending this character in your essay? Your position in terms of your judgment on the character should be obvious in your thesis. In your analysis, you must make connections to at least one other character from a different story we read. So, for example, if I'm doing a character analysis of Arnold's friend from Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been, I'm going to make a connection to another character from another story that we read. Arnold's friend being, serial killer that he is, I would think that making a connection between him and the misfit from A Good Man Is Hard to Find could be a pretty meaningful analysis in a body paragraph. Connections like these add more insight to your analysis. That's the whole purpose of these connections. They're considered text-to-text connections, and pretty much my focus on having you bring another story just to connect to the one that you're analyzing, in your essay. That entire purpose behind it is to enrich our understanding of the story you're actually analyzing. So if you're analyzing Arnold's friend, the connection to the misfit is there simply to enrich our understanding of Arnold Friend. So whatever connection you're making should be relevant. I also decided to ask you some questions that will help your character analysis, because these questions um, allow you to produce a more specific character analysis. So here are some of these questions. Of course, you do not have to focus your entire essay on every single question. You might focus on one or two. So it depends on what you're interested in. Does he or she undergo important changes in the story? What are the facets of his or her personality or behavior? What is his or her relationship with other characters? What important action does she or he take that helps us understand the character? What important conflict does he or she encounter? And how does he or she address or resolve those conflicts? And then, the list goes on. So pretty much, I'm asking these questions because any one of these questions could help you produce a meaningful thesis. So here's a thesis that I came up with. I just wanted to help you guys out just so you can have a perspective on, what I'm looking for this topic. The character of Arnold Friend from Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been by Joyce Carol Oates is a fascinating glimpse into the inner workings of a serial killer. Despite the fact that he never grows, improves, or changes throughout the story, readers are still able to learn about his deeply rooted insecurities, demonstrated by the details devoted to his appearance, as well as his desperate desire for control reflected in his speech towards Connie. Though we cannot sympathize with him, we do learn to understand him a little better by the conclusion of the story. So I know this is a rather lengthy thesis, but I decided that this thesis gives me everything that I'm looking to develop about Arnold Friend. And honestly, there are two main rationales that I'm aiming to fulfill in my argument. And the first one is his insecurity. And we see this, right, in the way that he, portrays his appearance, the way that he's dressing, he's trying to look younger. He has kind of like a beauty mark on his face, the car that he's driving. There's a lot about his appearance that I would like to mention, and all of those details are going to really help my main point of Arnold Friend's insecurity. And then the second rationale that I'm developing is, this idea that you just need to have control over something. So maybe this is a reflection of how, in life he didn't have control, how he might have been damaged at some point. But we see this even in his first dialogue that we come across when he says, "Gonna get you, baby." So we see that towards Connie throughout the whole story. So I wanted to really focus on his speech, on his diction, and those are going to be my two main rationales. So you guys, I spent a lot of time on character analysis because this ends up being one of the most popular topics that students select. So I do want to make sure you all understand how to write one. One of the things that you need to aim for is making your character analysis specific and also taking a position in regards to the character that you're focusing on. You need to represent this character in either a sympathetic or a critical way. Topic 2. Analyze how the symbolism in one of the stories we read or watched develops a particular theme in the play. So obviously not all of the stories are going to have like the strongest symbolism, but I do want to give you guys the option of selecting, whichever story that you think contains a symbol that is relevant to a theme that the story is trying to develop. So I'm going to have you guys, choose that. It could be any one of the stories up here. So I gave you guys an example to think about. For example, if I choose trifle, okay, my thesis might look something like this. The symbolism of the messy kitchen, such as the dirty towels and broken jars, reflects the heartbreaking theme of despair reflected by Minnie Wright's mental breakdown. So this is a little bit of a broader thesis. I wanted to just focus on this main idea of a mental breakdown, but there's so many things that I do want to talk about, like abusive household being one, repressive and restrictive marriage being another one. And I do think that the dirty towels and the broken jars are kind of like these specific symbols that work against what a woman's role is supposed to be and then what it actually is in the story. So I liked that, and I wanted to, give you guys just a sample of what I'm thinking of as far as like a way that I can answer this question. So you do have to make make a connection to another story throughout your essay. So, but don't forget that your main focus is on trifles. So if I want to make a connection between trifles and another story, so for example, I might see a similarity between trifles and a doll's house. A doll's house is only going to be in one part of my essay, like in one body paragraph. It's not going to be the main focus, okay? Third topic, analyze the irony in one of the stories from our unit and how it leads to a deeper understanding of a particular character or theme. There is a lot of irony in the stories that we read. There's irony in the story of an hour, in the open boat, in the yellow wallpaper, in Reality Bites, A Good Man is Hard to Find. I mean, there's so much. Basically, every single story has irony in it. So I think, a good place to start is make sure that you understand what irony means, and then select one story that you're focusing on. So the topic asks, analyze the irony in one of the stories from our unit and how it leads to a deeper understanding of a particular character or theme. So I put character or theme because I want to give you guys freedom to choose whichever one you're most interested in. So here's an example. Let's say I want to focus on A Good Man is Hard to Find, the irony in this story. My thesis might look something like this. The greatest irony in the short story, A Good Man is Hard to Find, by Flannery O'Connor, is that the only person who seems to truly understand Christian virtue happens to be a serial killer. In reality, the misfit is the only character in the story who is not a hypocrite despite his evil nature. I thought this was, a pretty good thesis, considering that Christianity is such a big part of the story. And so I thought, why not? Like, let's just kind of like, I didn't want to say that, the misfit is the only true Christian in the story, because he doesn't claim to be a Christian. But I did want to talk about his lack of hypocrisy. He's very genuine, despite the fact that he's evil as hell. So once again, it says make a connection to another story. So in order for us to truly understand the misfit's role in this story, right, the fact that he's not really a hypocrite, maybe I would like to make a connection to Arnold Friend from Where Are You Going? Where Have You Been? The reason why I was thinking that I would make a connection with Arnold Friend is because I kind of think Arnold Friend is a little bit of a hypocrite. Like, the misfit is very like what you see is what you get, but Arnold Friend is a little bit more pretentious. He tries to kind of like assimilate in society, whereas the misfit is confident to stand alone and be different. So I thought that this major difference really reflected, again, the lack of hypocrisy in the misfit. I would really want to talk about that in a body paragraph when making a connection. Fourth topic, so I do want you guys to notice that the fourth, fifth, and sixth topics are a little bit more specific to the movies that I assigned. So for example, if you guys only watched Reality Bites, then you would maybe consider topic number 4. If you watched Eternal Sunshine, then 5 and 6 you might want to consider. If you did not want to do your essay on any of the movies, well then just ignore 4, 5, and 6 and choose one of the topics from 1, 2, or 3. But if you are interested in the movie, topic number 4 asks you to analyze the way Reality Bites depict, and then I have 3 subtopics for you to choose from. Gen X is one, reality TV is another, or the struggles of post-college graduates. So let's just take a moment and talk about what's Gen X, okay? You have to look this up. This is a specific generation. And, we're particularly talking about the 90s. So you want to make sure that you understand, what age group the Gen X crowd falls under. And obviously, Reality Bites is supposed to be it's supposed to be kind of like a reflection of this particular generation. So in order to write an essay like this that discusses the depiction of Gen X, you want to make sure you understand what is going on in society at that time. At the time that Milena and Troy and so on are living their lives. They've graduated from college. What kinds of issues are they facing? So we see a lot happening, right, for that generation. We do see financial struggles that this group faces. We do see, in terms of employment, some of the struggles, in terms of personal relationships, some of the struggles. We also see some commentary on society in general, like about HIV and AIDS, about homosexuality, and so on. So the question is, do you agree or disagree with the film's portrayal of Gen X? In other words, do you think the film represents these subjects, choose only one, accurately? So if you want to do an essay on Gen X, your entire focus is going to be on Gen X. If you want to do an essay on reality TV, just because Reality Bites is supposed to be supposed to show us like a little movie within the movie. So we want to see, how is it that the film represents the birth of reality TV. This is the first time that we actually got reality TV depicted. It's during this time period. This is when we had the Real World that MTV came out with. Nowadays, reality TV is a part of our everyday lives. So it's very interesting to look at this subtopic and maybe again answer the question, do you think that the film is accurately representing reality TV? So if that's what you're interested in, your essay could be about that, or your essay could be about the struggles of post-college graduates. So that's exactly what the group of friends are. They're post-college graduates. They just graduated from college, they all have their degrees, and they all are struggling in one way or another. There we have Vicky, who has her own struggles. There we have Troy, who has his own struggles. So I put over here, for example, if you choose to focus on the struggles college graduates face, so the third subtopic, you might want to select 2 or 3 conflicts the film addresses and analyze the role these conflicts play in the lives of postgraduates, both in the film and in real life. So I wrote over here just to help you out. You might want to address whether or not you find these conflicts realistic and how such conflicts have changed or stayed the same over time. So here's a sample thesis that I came up with just to give you guys an idea. Reality Bites offers a compellingly accurate commentary on the struggle to obtain a meaningful career, as well as the endless failure to find a long-lasting romantic partner in life that postgraduates face both in the film and in real life. So notice that I'm taking the position that the film does represent the conflict of post-grads very accurately, because I said a compellingly accurate commentary. That's my position. And I'm going to be focusing on two main things, okay, two main ideas. The struggle to find a career and the struggle to really find a life partner. And again, you want to make sure that you do make a connection to another story, and that connection is only going to be in one part of your essay. Now, topic 5 is on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a very unique, quirky type of movie that, it's pretty low budget. It's not super popular. Students who watch it, they end up liking it a lot. So one of the topics that I found absolutely fascinating in the movie is this idea of memory and the role of memory in our lives. So I put over here, analyze the film in terms of what it says about memory. When analyzing the film, answer this question: do memories define us, or are they barriers to our future progress? Now, you can argue either one. Like for some people, memories can really be a hindrance to their progress. Like because they have a certain memory, they dwell on the negative that is in that memory, and they're just not able to move on. And that's really what the film is showing in the beginning, right? Because these characters, they're not able to move on, and that's why they have, they choose to undergo this procedure to have their memories erased. And so it's kind of like, do you agree that such a procedure might be beneficial? Like there are some memories that we are better off living without, that we are better off forgetting, and that could be your position. Or do you think that all memories, whether good or bad, define us? And you might want to take a position on how they define us. What is it that they bring to our lives that is meaningful and valuable? So that's the beauty of a thesis like this. Obviously this topic is very meaningful to me just because my family has struggled with Alzheimer's. My grandpa died of Alzheimer's. My great grandma died of Alzheimer's. I see my grandma now struggling with dementia. So this idea of memory is really a big part of my life, my family's life. And so that's why I found it very meaningful to add a topic like this. So if you're interested in this one, by all means, you could write your essay on this. And make a connection to another story or play or even film, that we read in our unit. Finally, number 6. Now, number 6, notice that it's very similar actually to number 2, because you could very well argue the symbolism in Eternal Sunshine, but I just wanted to emphasize number 6 as like a subcategory of number 2, just because the symbolism in Eternal Sunshine is very specifically the color symbolism that we see in the movie. And I thought, let me just separate it just so I put a little bit more emphasis on it. So I wrote, analyze the symbolic relevance of colors in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in relation to a particular theme in the film. Make a connection to another story or play. So if you're interested in this idea of symbolism, that of colors, the symbolism of colors in Eternal Sunshine, you could write topic number 6 on that. But again, if you're interested in just like symbolism in general, like in another story from any of the units, or even symbolism in Eternal Sunshine that does not have to do with color, you could choose topic number 2. It's just topic number 2 is a little bit more broad. You have to select your own focus. And topic number 6 is a lot more specific, where I'm giving you exactly what I would like you to focus on. Gosh, you guys, I hope these are six good topics that maybe are compelling for you, that will excite you to write a good essay on. If you have any questions, I'm here to help you. I hope that my tutorial really helped you understand what exactly I'm looking for in this essay that we write, what kind of thesis you might want to aim for, and how, of course, you should make those connections to the secondary stories that you're going to be using in your essay. So feel free to reach out, and again, I can't wait to read these essays.